Good morning, Year 1. In today's maths lesson, we are looking at ordering numbers to 20 using the greater than and less than symbols we learnt about yesterday. So before we begin with our new learning, let's remind ourselves of what we did yesterday. Here I have some sets of numbers. I want you to try and identify and say which you think is the greatest number. Okay, so we have 14 and 12. Pause the video and think about what you think the greatest number is. That's right, the greatest number is 14. Okay, let's try the next one. Can you identify the greatest number between 18 and 11? Excellent, 18 is the greatest number. The next question is, which is the greatest between 16 and 13? Great work, 16 is the greatest number. And finally, what's the greatest between 12 and 19? Hopefully you thought it was 19. 19 is the greatest number out of those two. Here we have 3 children who have all picked some sweets out of the machine. We need to decide who has the least amount and who has the most by putting the 3 numbers in order. The first thing we need to do is count how many sweets each child has. So we'll start with Anya. Pause the video and count how many sweets that you think she has. Let's count together. I'm going to mark off when I've counted one so that I don't lose track. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So Anya has 15 sweets, and I'm going to write that just above so that I don't forget. Our next job is to count how many sweets Billy has. So pause the video and have a go at that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Billy has 5 sweets. And I'll write that just above so that we don't forget. And finally, Dan. Pause the video and count how many sweets you think Dan has. Let's have a go at counting Dan's sweets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Dan has 16 sweets. Now we know how many sweets each child has, we can start to figure out which is the least and which is the most. So have a look at those numbers and think about which you think is the least amount. That's right, 5 is the least, so we're going to write that in this number box here. We have 2 numbers left, 15 and 16. Which is the next least out of those? Excellent, 15 comes next. And that leaves us with 16, which is the greatest amount or the most. Now we can use our greater than and less than symbols to make this really clear to anybody who looks at it. Now we know that 5 is the least and 15 is more than 5. So we can use the less than symbol to help us show that. 5 is less than 15. We can also use the symbol again to show that 15 is less than 16. Here the sweets have been represented with cubes and a number line. This time I want us to order the numbers from most to least, and I've already added in the symbols to help us out with that. So we still have Anya, Billy and Dan. Anya has 15 sweets, Billy has 5 sweets, and Dan has 16 sweets. Pause the video and think about who has the most. So we can remember from last time that Dan had the most. So this time I'm going to write 16 on this side of the number statement. This says 16 is greater than, and our next number is 15. And then finally we have 1 number left and we can say 15 is greater than 5. This is a little bit more tricky. We have 3 numbers, but we've we've got no cubes or objects to represent it. So what could we do to help us organise and order these numbers? Okay, so what I've done is I've got some number cards from 0 to 20 and I've jumbled them all up. You can make these with paper and pen. I've picked out the 3 numbers from the question, which were 18, 11 and 15. I need to decide which is the greatest and which is the least. Now to do that I'm going to use base 10. If we remember from our lessons, a stick represents 10 and a cube represents 1. And we're going to use this to help find out how much each of our numbers represents. So we're going to start with 18. 18 is 1 10 and 8 ones. So I need 1 10 and 8 ones. Count with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm going to do the same with the number 11. How many 10s do you think are in the number 11? Excellent, we have 1 10. And we also have 1 1. Finally, the number 15. How many 10s are in the number 15? Excellent, we have 1 10 and 5 ones. I can see the smallest number is 11, so I can place the card 11 at the beginning of my statement. 11 is less than, the next smallest number is 15. And finally, 15 is less than 18, which is the greatest number. Now at home you may not have this base 10, so I'm going to show you how you could do this in your work. And then I'm going to represent my 10s using sticks and dots for my 1s. 18 has 1 10 and 8 ones. I'll draw 1 10 and 8 ones. I'm now going to represent my 11 with 1 10 and 1 1. And finally 15, which is 1 10 and 5 ones. I can now use this to help me compare the numbers, going from least to most. So 11 is less than 15, which is less than 18. Your challenge is to choose 3 different numbers and compare them. You can start by doing questions from least to most, and as a challenge, you can try and compare 3 numbers from most to least.